Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I'm really pleased to welcome you on the annual conference of EULISA. This conference comes at a very special moment, not only in the year, but for Europe as a whole, for several reasons. First of all, we are talking about smart borders already for good numbers of years. Everything started with the proposal that the European Commission tabled. However, now we have the follow-up of the study, and we have evidence about the assumptions made at the time when the proposal was shaped with regards to the actual value of smart borders for more efficient and effective border management and with regards to facilitation of the traveler's experience. Now we have evidences. The second reason which makes this conference a bit special is the challenges that Europe faces today. And I believe that facilitation of legal migration, making Europe more open to the rest of the world, is one of the most appropriate tools to address the present challenges, not in short term, because that takes time, but in the longer term perspective. We should start thinking all together, the European institutions, European agencies, industry, if you like, how the future border management will be shaped and how technologies today and their development in the future can support and facilitate this development.
We decided to focus this pilot on biometrics, which biometrics to be used, and on process accelerators, so how to speed up the border controls for travelers. And we have done it with the support of a series of member states, with the industry. I would like to thank all of them for this. It was essential to do it in real conditions as much as possible. We are really impressed that everything was done in a so short period of time with all these constraints and all this obligation to be respected. So it's something that we measure, we appreciate greatly. What we know after this pilot, it's mainly things that we were capable to imagine before starting the pilot. We have seen that it's possible to collect a series of biometrics, less fingerprints, facial image, iris. We could imagine others, but all in all, we have to make a distinction between what is possible, what is feasible, and what we want really, what is proportionate, and what is acceptable. A pilot, it's not only to say, to discover that something is possible, it's also to discover that something is not possible or should not be implemented because it could create a lot of problems. A certain number of options are still in discussion, and I again invite you participating in the public consultation. So if you have things you would like to pass to us to inform us on point of attention of elements that we should take into consideration, feel free doing so through the consultation that is available for the timing. Thank you for your attention.
Today, the borders of the Schengen area are quite large, complex. We have 1,800 border crossing points of different size, different type. We have a challenging task to verify the identity and the purpose of the travel of almost 200 million of passengers crossing the border. And we have also to guarantee that this process is as smooth as possible, because all these traveler flow in Europe contribute a lot to the economy of the European Union. Everybody speaking today is talking about smart border. Actually, smart border can guarantee a better travel experience, better efficiency of border control process, saving time and money for the national authorities, and positive impact on an internal security, guaranteeing the proportionality on the privacy of the passenger. Strategic challenge in which we have to discuss further and to find solutions are to how we can grow in international travel, trade, and migration, and to contribute to the economy of the European Union. How to make that the solution we implement are cost effective. Existing system infrastructure and facilities should be reused as much as possible. And the privacy and data protection should be put also in the magnifier. So critical success factor, that close with this slide. We need alignment of legislation and technology. Stakeholder engagement is very important, not only the people that are sitting in Brussels, but also the industry, member states, carriers, everybody should be involved in this process, and the public consultation of the European Commission is going in this direction. Trusted privacy by design to also guarantee that we are not doing any big brother. We just want to identify that who is coming to visit Europe is the same people that is exiting Europe, and we don't want to introduce any risk to the privacy. Thank you for your attention.
I would like to thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to share our experience during the Smart Borders pilot. We give extra attention in the sea borders, since in Greece we have 57 sea borders, border crossing points, and they are close connected with the cruise industry, which is a vital part of the Greek economy. As regards to the human factors, we would like to see the impact of smart borders and in human, and especially in border guards and travelers. We participated with 2 border crossing points. The first one was Kipievru, and we used handheld devices. And the second one is the port of Piraeus, in which we used onboard checks using mobile suitcases. And as regards to biometric, our experience in Greece says that the facial image seems to be more acceptable than the other biometrics, but in the same time, fingerprints can be used to fight against crime and terrorism. Already in the United States, they use mobile passport application, which is provided using the app stores in iOS and Android devices, which allow travelers to enter and submit their passport and custom declaration information using the smartphones or tablets. We could consider to also add it as an accelerator in the Smart Borders initiative. Some may argue that the Smart Borders is an intrusive system, but in order to protect human life, which is the ultimate value in the framework of Schengen area and European Union, we need to work close together. The abolition of stamping, for our perspective, is maybe the most groundbreaking feature in Smart Borders. Thank you very much.
We will now have a panel which will continue with some of the operational lessons learned from the Smart Borders pilot and from the project itself and how it was conducted.
So good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you, Lizzie, for the opportunity to be present at this conference. From one of the main lessons we learned, it is very important that we have everyone involved and that we have support so things can go forward. Because, like it was said before, time was an issue. So we had to really do all our homework so that we could get started and do things the right way. Here you see some more pictures of the setup. And this was TC9. The goal here was to test the usability and the security of the self-service kiosk. This was very interesting because here we had people doing the enrollment themselves. It was a good experience. It was a good experience. We had some issues with fingerprints. We had a small number of issues with fingerprints, but the general overview was that it was a useful test. We could actually see that people were interested in participating. What I personally and Emma would like to see is that our effort, our willingness to participate and would result in helping our legislators taking good decisions on what to come for with the future of ABC, with smart borders. This would really be fruitful for us. It would be nice to know that we did something, we helped for good decisions. So thank you very much.
Okay. The next panelist is the project manager from France, Nicolas. And France tested in several test cases in 3 different locations. I give the floor to Nicolas.
Thank you, Mai. Good morning. So thank you, Elisa, for giving me some time and space to talk about the French pilots that were actually led by Elisa. From our perspective, in less than 6 or 10 seconds, we could have, I would say, a whole car with 4 passengers just verified, identified, thanks to the iris. So for us, this is, I would say, a good facilitator. People, EU citizens, are really excited about this technology, and they really want to have freedom of movement. More challenging issue was about the cruise ship, whereby we don't have, I would say, 400 people in 15 minutes. We have 1,500 or 2,000 people in 15 minutes, which means with the actual figures on border crossing through gates, which that means 50 gates to install in each border crossing point in each harbor. This is impossible. The harbors do not have the money. So what is missing is just the fact that there is tomorrow's technology that should maybe have been taken into account, such as facial recognition on video flows, on the disembarkment of the cruise ship, or other technologies which I'm not aware of, and that would maybe enlighten the forthcoming regulation. And that's it.
Now, in this very slide-heavy project, we will return to some slides, and I will hand the floor to Faris from Germany, where they have been testing in Frankfurt Airport.
Yes, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Thank you to Elisa for the possibility to speak here. Thank you for the cooperation, and congratulations to you and the other member states. We cannot repeat this often enough, I guess, that we managed to do this. You managed, we managed, all the other member states to do this in this short amount of time. My presentation will be a little bit differently, because in Germany we approach the pilot a little bit differently. And in addition to the test cases that Elisa has assigned to us, which basically were focused on the enrollment of fingerprints and ABC at exit for third country nationals, we decided that we want to implement an end-to-end pilot. There could be the passport from the married woman that was mentioned today. She has a new passport. There could be the traveler who has maybe bad intentions or should not have a new identity. So this kind of deduplication we did implement with biometrics, finger, face, and even iris we tried in combination. And then you have the registration processes, possible verification processes, a lot of things. So in summary, a complex process for the new border guard. What is the concept of ownership? If I see a traveler in front of me and he already has troubles because there was incorrect data in the system, am I allowed to correct it? Or who's going to do that? At this point, we have all these nice statistics. We see what's going on within this pilot. We see the quality, we see the time. It has been monitored during the pilot. I would encourage you to think about that. We should also do this in the later system, to have an operational monitoring that allows us to see what's going on. So many devices, so many workstations in charge of enrollment. What's going on? Someone has to do the self-auditing, and we need to be enabled to do that. That's for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Faris. As has also been mentioned by, I think, all of the panelists, and again by Faris, is that there are, of course, a lot of travelers. This is all about the travelers, about people. And to explore some of the issues for them, in parallel with the pilot, the Fundamental Rights Agency has conducted a survey at some of the participating border crossing points.
Thank you for the invitation to be part of this event. It is also a pleasure and an honor for the Fundamental Rights Agency to be involved in the development of the Smart Borders proposal by having carried out a survey in connection to the EU-LISA pilot project. The EU institutions, as well as the member states, are bound by the EU Fundamental Rights Charter in the formulation of legislation and in its implementation. So what we did in this context was to bring down some of the principles, data protection, privacy, dignity of a person, to a very practical level, and to look at how the person concerned, meaning third country nationals crossing the border, perceived some fundamental rights which are of particular value when in the Smart Borders context. But we asked about humiliation. Did you feel humiliated? When looking at right to privacy, we focused on the intrusiveness of the particular biometric identifier. In data protection issues, which encompass a lot of issues, we focused on the risk for unauthorized access as the third country national perceived the situation. Discrimination, we sometimes hear the concept, machines do not discriminate. We looked at how people perceive this concept. Right to information. Do the person know, does the person want to know? Do the person find it necessary to know how the biometric information is used and why it is collected? Right to remedies, if something goes wrong. Issue of children. Age for fingerprinting is one of the issues that has been under debate in the context of Smart Borders. Overall, the majority of travelers are comfortable with biometrics. They also think, the majority, it does not intrude on privacy. It's also not humiliating. So thank you very much, and looking forward to the questions then. Thanks.